if the LOHAS consumer, when walking into a store, is looking around them, looking at everything that's what's my health and what's the planet health, how does somebody get there? Several ways. So let's take cars as an example. When the Prius was launched, or the hybrid car was launched, the LOHAS was the early adopter. And LOHAS consumer absolutely was the primary target and the primary purchaser of that technology. It's not, however, now the primary target of this sector. The primary target for this group is now conventionals. They get the understanding that if they buy something that saves them money, even if it's got a higher outlay initially, they will buy it. They also happen to have enough money to be able to do it. So that you'll see that the shift from hybrid and how it's marketed is now absolutely mainstream. Same thing for food. With organic food and supplements, generally speaking, it's a naturalites entry point. If I'm concerned about my health, I want to get fitter, I'm going to the gym, I start caring about taking supplements, I start caring about what I'm eating, I start looking at organics, pesticide-free supplements for whatever reason, vitamins, etc. As I'm doing that, I then start looking a bit more into, well, what is organic? Why is pesticide better? As I do that, I start getting issues about water quality, soil quality, air quality, in terms of the food in which I'm ingesting. That naturally evolves me into a LOHAS state. So naturalites often will basically broaden this LOHAS segment. So here's some information looking at our research, which is in Asia, versus the US benchmark and the European benchmark. And building from bottom up, we can see that in Asia, the LOHAS segment is smaller, as you probably would expect for a newer markets, than in the States and Europe. So it's 16 versus 19% in each. But if you take these two segments together, naturalites and LOHAS, these are the segments that are the heaviest purchasers currently of environmentally friendly and sustainable products. We have 36 in Asia, we have 34 in the States, and we have 36 in Europe. This, I believe, is a trend where naturalites, it's normal that in the newer markets there's more me focus. It's a newer consumer. They're just starting to encounter health issues that were never here before in Asia. They're starting to go into health and fitness in a bigger way. Yoga, gym memberships, etc., all increasing fast. And there will be a shift from some of the naturalites into LOHAS, and that would be expected. Just a word on market research. You won't get LOHAS, all 100% LOHAS. It doesn't work that way because LOHAS is continually pushing the envelope of technology. So the LOHAS has moved from hybrid cars now to electric vehicles, and will move to fuel cells, and will move to whatever else comes after that. And they're always moving along and adopting the latest technology. So it's always going to stay a stable maximum, probably 19 to 20% of the population. We have more drifters, as I mentioned, and then similar numbers of conventionals, and interestingly less unconcerned. So there's more focus, whether it's good or bad, on the issue in Asia. A complicated chart, I'll try to draw out the differences. So this is all the countries. You have all this in the blue book and in, of course, your presentation. So let's try and have a look at LOHAS. In terms of where are we more evolved in terms of LOHAS consumers, well, it's Indonesia and Australia. Very interesting, completely different markets on the face of it. Australia being more like a Western market, therefore we'd expect it to play more like a Western number, that's fine. Why Indonesia? Actually, we were talking to consumers, remember. The Indonesian consumer, in particular the Jakarta consumer, is a bit fed up with their environment. They're a bit fed up with how they're painted as being the bad guys, cutting down their forests and being corrupt, etc. The individual consumer doesn't want that. So you'll find there's pockets of creativity coming up in Jakarta, more so than any other Southeast Asian market at the moment. People looking for organics, looking for natural, looking for alternative. Because let's face it, they can't drive anywhere because you can't get anywhere in a car. So it's all starting to become more community-based again. So it's a very interesting dynamic going on in Jakarta right now. Naturalites, India, Indonesia, Hong Kong. Again, for slightly different reasons. India, we believe, is through the natural focus of Ayurveda that is there for health reasons. There is more focus on personal health through supplementation, etc. Indonesia, I won't mention about, I'll talk about Hong Kong. Hong Kong, while we're here, has the lowest LOHAS number of all, and the highest naturalites number, next to Indonesia. It's a very me-focused economy, and it's not going to change anytime soon, I don't think, and I don't think that number is going to change anytime soon. But it's very interesting to think, if you're doing sustainability in Hong Kong, better go after the me phenomenon rather than talk about we. It's not going to work that well. This is how we would talk with a company trying to market into Hong Kong. Drifters, China, India, Hong Kong. China and India being the least mature markets, and that's normal. You'd expect the trend would sway the purchasing very much so. Hong Kong goes back to why they're buying. Conspicuous consumption is alive and well in Hong Kong, and that's the reason for that. And conventionals in South Korea, well, spend any time in South Korea, the dynamic of the market is still very conservative. Conventionals tend to be the most conservative, so that explains that quite nicely.